Electronic military draft notices sent out in St. Petersburg, Russia.
Here's a summary of the article.
Your personal data will be processed and information from your device may be stored by, accessed by and shared with third-party vendors, or used specifically by this site or app. Some vendors may process your personal data on the basis of legitimate interest, which you can object to by managing your options below.
This post received a score of 45,000, with an upvote ratio of 93%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Went to Thailand last month for my honeymoon. No joke, it felt like I was in Russia. They were absolutely everywhere. Some of the locals told me it was because they didn't want to go home as they would be drafted to war.
It's the same in Georgia, Turkey, and all the stands. I wonder when Russia will go to liberate their tourists from vacations.
Special vacation operation. Sir, we keep sending more SVO troops to Thailand and they don't come back. Send more troops.
I have similar reports from friends of large numbers of wealthy, badly behaving Russian draft dodgers currently residing in Bali.
You'd think you'd keep a low profile and not act like jackasses abroad when your dictator is illegally invading a country. I know I wouldn't want attention brought to myself for being Russian if I was. What a bunch of classless assholes.
A Russian friend of a friend got his draft notice a couple days ago. Thankfully he's living in Netherlands so he's ignoring the notice, but he can basically never go back to Russia.
Sorry. Must have gone to spam.
He didn't get it via email. 2 guys went to his address in Russia.
Dude, that made my blood run cold. Terrifying. Well, it is a usual thing in all post-Soviet countries. They to go your address, to bring you a draft notice that you have to go to the enlistment office. Like, the whole news is about this. They had to hand over the notice in person. And you could not open a door, you could live in another place, thus avoid receiving the notice so they could not do anything with you. And now, you theoretically cannot avoid the process of receiving, so this is much scarier. I get it. So you are not actually drafted until they put it in your hand. But now, they can email you and if you don't show up you're dodging. Thanks. Still so scary to know if he had stayed at home like so many others he'd be dying in Ukraine somewhere for Putin. Hope you're okay you, Ukrainian_femboy. Stay cute.
I listened to an interview a few months ago, prior to this new electronic system, where a guy found a draft notice in front of his apartment door. They just put a draft notice in front of his door in the hopes that someone who lived there met the requirements to go off to war, and would of course be honorable, ignorant enough to show up with the draft notice. He ended up getting drafted, but pushed hard enough to end up in a non-combat role. The non-combat role was the main part of the interview, but he described how he got drafted.
Are you telling me he got a draft notice addressed to resident?
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.